Hi everybody, I'm going to show you how you might be able to use Photopea or Photopea, we're not sure how to say that in the art department, as an alternative to Photoshop to remove unwanted parts of your structure when you go to put it into your landscape. So here on the right, you can see that I added the landscape onto a Google drawing and I added my structure to it. But because Google Drawing doesn't let you erase parts of the second image, I can't erase this part that is kind of going over this lady's head. So it makes the image look a little less realistic. Photopea or Photopea will allow you to erase that. And what I want to do is show that to you. So if you want to try it, you can, depending on what your structure looks like and what your landscape is. To do this, you are going to go to your Google Drive where my images are located. Click on the image and right click on it to download. This one is called Example 3. And then I'm going to navigate over to where my landscape is, and here's my Featherstone landscape. So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to right click it or option click and click download. Next, I'm going to go over to the website Photo Scissors, and I'm just going to X this out here, and I'm going to upload my image. So I'm going to click upload, upload image, and in my downloads, I'm going to find that photograph that I took of my structure and bring it into Photo Scissors. Now you can see that Photo Scissors does a pretty good job at getting rid of any of the pieces of the background, and that's actually something pretty cool about it, and also why we used a background that was all one color, because when we bring it into a program like this, it's a lot easier to remove the background. Now if you zoom in here, you're probably going to see some details right here where you can still see some of the paper, so you might want to spend a few minutes to get rid of that, and you're going to do that by clicking the eraser button and maybe making it a little smaller, zooming in there, and just getting rid of these little, whoopsie. If you make a mistake, you can always go back. Click the back button. And I'm just going to go and I'm going to remove a few of the ones that don't look so good because it's going to affect how my image looks. So that looks pretty good. And when I'm done, I'm going to click download, just like we did before. And I'm going to say download in low resolution because that's the free version. Now I'm going to go over to Photopea or Photopea. This is what you should see when you get to Photopea or Photopea. You're going to go to File, Open, and we're going to open both those files that we made in Photopea. So here you can see my PNGs. I'm going to click this one. So here's the one with the background removed. Next, I'm going to open my landscape image. So I'm going to click Open. And I'm going to find that plain landscape image that I had. You'll see that when Photopea opens an image, it automatically makes it a PSD. That actually stands for Photoshop image. So here we have our plain landscape, and here we have our structure. So I'm going to say Select All. I'm going to come over to Edit, and I'm going to say Copy. Then I'm going to come over to my image of Featherstone in this case, and I'm going to say Edit, Paste. And you can barely see it here, but here is my image. Now the other thing I need to do is I want to move this around. So I'm going to click this tool, and you'll see that I can move this all around now. What I'm missing are kind of the handles to show me where I need to push and pull. In order to do that, I'm going to go over here to the top of this window, and I'm going to click on the square that says transform controls. I'm going to click that with a check, and all of a sudden you'll see that you can see the little handles that you see also in some of the Google stuff that we've been working on. What we want to do is we want to make this bigger. I'm going to go over to the corner. I'm going to hold the shift key down because I want this to go proportionally. I don't want to accidentally make it too big. And when it does that, I'm going to bring it down and see if that is the size I want to use. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Again, I'm holding the shift key to keep the proportion. And I'm going to move that into position and kind of where I think it might go. Maybe right there. Now I could also, let's say I want to rotate this image a little bit. Notice that when I go over to the edges, I get kind of a double arrow. So I can rotate this image by just kind of tipping it a little bit and getting it where I want it to be. Once I get it in place, I am going to click the arrow tool. Now I want to remove this area because it's kind of blocking this and it doesn't really look as realistic as it could. So when you do this, make sure that you'll see here on the right-hand side that there are two layers. There's my background layer, which is the landscape, and then the structure layer, which is on top, which is layer 1. So now what I want to do is I want to use my eraser tool. If you click right here, you'll see that there's a background eraser and an eraser tool. The one we want to use is the eraser tool. My eraser tool is really small. I'm going to right click with my mouse and you can see that the size gets bigger. You can also change the size up here. I'm going to make that a little larger. Let's see how that looks. But it's a little bit bigger, so I think it'll be a little bit more useful. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to very carefully erase some of these lines. So maybe right here. And if I don't like something, edit, undo, and I can go back again and I can redo this. Now I have an image that looks much more realistic because it's not blocking anybody's head and it looks a lot better. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go up to the File menu. I'm going to save it as a Photoshop document. So I'm going to say Save As. It's going to download it. And notice that it calls it whatever the name is here. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to export as a JPEG. So you want to make sure to click on the JPG and click that. And it'll ask you how big you want to make it. Just do it 100% and click Save. That has saved on your computer. So you're going to log into our classroom. You're going to find the assignment under classwork and you will upload this image into the Google Classroom. It will be in your downloads, so make sure you go there.